Okay, so we are live streaming on YouTube this meeting now. So just letting everybody know if you're not talking, it's not gonna show you. But if you are worried about your image showing up, you can just go ahead and turn your camera off. Otherwise, like I said, it's only gonna show you if you are talking. Um, Hopefully you are here for middle school information night from Natomas Charter School. I am Amanda Goldman. I'm one of our principals. With me, I have Dr. Seema Gandhi and Alicia Carter. And we're going to maybe take like one more minute to sort of let people come in, but we already have a good 50 people here and we want to be mindful of time. So we'll get started pretty soon. And yeah, thank you for being with us. Okay, good to go. What do you think, team? Should we go ahead and start on time or give people a few minutes? Yep. Okay. All right. So folks will keep coming in and we have about 120 people signed up for this event and we'll see how many join us. Again, welcome. My name is Amanda Goldman. I am the Leading Edge Academy Coordinator. I will kind of MC tonight, but I'll let Dr. Gandhi and Ms. Carter introduce themselves as well.
Good evening. My name is Seema Gandhi. I am the PFAA Academy Coordinator, and I am excited to be here and to tell you more about our program and also all the available programs that we have here for middle school. Alicia?
Yep. Hi, my name is Alicia Carter, and I'm the Academy Coordinator at Pact Academy, which is our independent study, homeschooling, and hybrid program.
So thank you all for being here. I'm gonna do a little bit of context building. So this event, some of you who are here in this event are already longtime NCS families. In fact, some of you have kids that currently attend one of our NCS, either elementary or middle or high schools. And some of you are brand new and not already part of our community, and we're hoping that you're going to choose to want to become part of our community. Our plan for tonight is we're going to lay out all three of our middle school options, like 3.5 actually of our middle school options, and kind of give you some insight on each of them, and then really take your questions and do our best to answer questions as best as we can. And we have about an hour here tonight. And again, I will say one more time, we are live streaming this event, recording it for YouTube. So if you choose to ask a question, but you don't want your image to appear, you can go ahead and keep your camera off or just put it in the chat when we get to that point. So to start us off, I just want to give us a little overview of Natomas Charter School. And sometimes we, in the community, we've heard, oh, I've heard of Leading Edge, I've heard of Pact, I've heard of PFAA, but maybe don't understand the whole umbrella that is Natomas Charter School. So Natomas Charter School is a TK through 12 program here in Natomas, one of the oldest charter schools in the state. And Natomas Charter School has the mission and vision that is written here. And I'm going to read it to you all because I think it matters. Our mission at Natomas Charter School is to provide students the opportunity to develop unique interests, uncover talents, experience satisfaction and accomplishment, gain a sense of responsibility, pursue education as a way of life in order to prepare for success in an ever-changing future. Whew, there's a lot of things there. What I want you to take away from that is what we're looking at Natomas Charter is how do we make schoolwork and education work for your child throughout their whole educational career. And we're going to tell you kind of different approaches that we take, but we all share that goal. The next thing I'm going to try to make sense of right now is like, wait, who is Natomas Charter School? Which school am I applying to? What school is where? And that can get a little confusing because there's lots of options and pathways under our big umbrella of Natomas Charter School. So to start off with, some of you here are Star Academy parents, and that's our TK through 5th elementary site-based program. And maybe you've joined the Natomas Charter School family in elementary school. Maybe you're hoping to join us in middle school. Either way, from that elementary place, and maybe, sorry, you're also an elementary school parent at our Pact program. From that elementary place, we have 3 middle school options for you. We have our Performing and Fine Arts Academy, which Dr. Gandhi is our coordinator. We say coordinator, we mean principal, just, it's the same. Is our principal of, and that is a 6 through 12 program. So if you start with PFAA in 6th grade, you get to go all the way through high school. Dr. Gandhi will talk about that later. We also have Leading Edge Academy. That's my academy. It's our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade standalone middle school program. Both of those, Performing and Fine Arts and Leading Edge, are site-based. In a normal world, you come to school to do school all the time. And then we have our Pact Academy, which is our homeschool and hybrid learning program. And some of you are currently homeschool parents, you know a lot about homeschooling, but in middle school, homeschooling takes some different options, and Ms. Carter will talk about that. Here's the cool thing. Right now, you guys are here, you're thinking about middle school, but there's actually way more to think about, and some of you are already aware, oh, in a couple years, I'm gonna have to think about high school too, yikes. And from these 3 options, you actually have a considerable number of options. It gets kind of messy within our school as well. From any of our middle school programs, you can go on to PFAA for high school or our Virtual Learning Academy for high school. So while that big old map is a little bit messy, what I want you to take away from this is lots of options, lots of pathways, one big Natomas Charter School community. I'm going to do super quick. Leading Edge and PFAA, most often folks think site-based or non-site-based in this land of distance learning. Maybe that's a different reality this year, but I'm going to do just some things that are the same at both PFAA and Leading Edge. Then I'll talk about Leading Edge, and Seema will talk about PFAA. So PFAA and Leading Edge are traditionally site-based programs. Both of these programs are small, safe, and supportive learning environments. Both are middle schools of about 300 or less, very supportive, very safe, great place to be. Both have rigorous academics and high expectations. Both have a culminating 8th grade portfolio. Both have arts, both have tech. I know that's like mind-blowing to some of us. Some of us think, okay, no, PFAA, they only do art, and Leading Edge, they only do tech and sports, and never the two shall meet. But I promise both programs have both components. And truly both have committed and inspirational faculty, and we have never seen that more truly than in this crazy world of distance learning. Also true about both programs. In both programs, students in middle school are going to take PE, they're going to take language arts, they're going to take social studies, they're going to take science, they're going to take math, all 3 years of middle school. We have some slightly different names for some of those classes, but they exist. It's standard California-based curriculum. In both programs, students are going to have a combination of arts and technology electives all 3 years of middle school. And in both programs, students are going to have access to similar, if not the same, math options. And we use the same math curriculum. I only call that out because for some reason it's a question that comes up a lot, but I'll just say that. So from there, I'm going to go into Leading Edge, and then I'm going to pass things over to Dr. Gandhi to talk about PFAA. So as I said, Leading Edge is our site-based middle school only, not middle and high school. And some things that people know about Leading Edge are things that people are excited about Leading Edge. So we're a very small, close-knit community. We've got 11 teachers. We've got one little hallway. We know everybody. We're very, very, very tight. We've really, I don't want to say mastered, but we've really worked hard on that transition between 5th grade elementary school and 6th grade middle school, where the kids have one teacher for half their day.
Say bye. Have a great day.
Thank you, Alicia. The kids have one teacher for half their day, and then they transition classes for the other half their day. So it's a little bit more of a gentle transition to middle school. We are known for a project-based cross-curricular curriculum, and we'll talk more about that. We do have a big emphasis on technology. Students take a technology class all 3 years. We do have an art class as well. Students take an art class all 3 years. And of course, we have the sports. We're known in the neighborhood. That's what we're known for. At Leading Edge, this is what your students' schedule kind of looks like. I mean, not in order, but the classes they take. Our 6th graders, they take a class called Humanities, which is ELA, Language Arts, and Social Studies, and that's like their whole morning. And then they rotate through math, expressions, PE, and science tech in the afternoons. All of our students have a homeroom, which is like a home base, a teacher that's like their person, also your person to go to throughout the year. And this year we've implemented something called Learning Lab, which is like some specialized instructional time built into the day. 7th and 8th graders looks pretty similar. They have a humanities class that they see that class twice, and it has language arts and social studies. And then they have a STEM class, which is where they do their science and their math. And again, they see that twice. And then they also have PE, expressions, and technology. As I said, Leading Edge is built on this idea of a thematic curriculum. And Dahlia, I see your hand. I'm gonna go through all of Leading Edge and let Seema go through all of PFAA, and then we'll pause for questions, okay? So like I said, Leading Edge is what we call a thematic or project-based learning curriculum. And all of our learning is based on these 5 basic ideas: building leadership and shared partnership, creative thinking and innovative problem solving, technical savvy, appreciating cultural diversity, and global thinking. And I could say so much more about that, but what I really want you to take away from this is that we're going to connect everything we do to these 5 ideas. So if these 5 ideas resonate with you, probably the kind of learning that we're doing at Leading Edge will resonate with you. I've got some contact information on here. And at the end of this meeting, I'm going to send you guys some links to some videos so you can watch and get more detail on that. But that is sort of our big picture of Leading Edge. Whoops, I'm not trying to start that.
Leading
Sorry.
Edge is a place that makes middle school work.
Stop. That was not my goal. All right, let me get the slide back up for you, Seema, and I'll hand things over to you.
Perfect, thank you. So as Ms. Goldman mentioned, both middle schools are site-based program. PFAA is a site-based program. Although there are some similarities between the 2 programs, there are also some differences. So PFAA is a comprehensive school. We go from 6th grade through 12th grade. Most of our 8th graders do stay at PFAA, and they continue on with us through 9th grade, 10th grade, and so on, and they graduate with us as well. There are a few students who start with us in 6th grade, and then after 8th grade decide to go off to bigger high schools where there's IB programs and things like that. Our middle school focuses on the arts, and when I say that, I want to be very clear that you don't have to be the best. And so what I mean by that is, are you interested in music? Are you interested in drawing? Are you interested in theater? Then PFAA is the place for you. It's all about interest. And so our mission really is focused on that. We really want to make sure that our students want to pursue higher learning in the arts while providing a rigorous curriculum. Next slide, please. We also at PFAA, as Ms. Goldman shares, we use the same math curriculum that Leading Edge does. We have many similarities in our sciences and our social sciences as well. What makes us unique at PFAA, though, is that most of our students are interested in the arts, and we really do interconnect the arts with our core courses. So all of our students take courses in music, dance, theater, and visual arts. We have various courses like ceramics, introduction to productions. We host middle school productions as well. This most recently, we were ready to show Into the Heights, but unfortunately, due to COVID, we weren't able to do that, and so we did a virtual production instead. We have various concerts. When COVID happened, we weren't able to do a live show, so we did a virtual show. So we really are a place where we take creativity and we expand on it. All of our students, by the time they leave 8th grade, are able to play an instrument. We offer various courses in our dance as well. We have modern, we have ballet, and we have introduction to theater, drama, acting. I mean, you name it, and we have it. Next bullet point, please. And the other thing is that along with our comprehensive arts program, we also are a 6th through 12th program. So most of our students start in 6th grade and they do stay with us all the way until 12th grade. But it is okay if after 8th grade, you decide to leave and go to a bigger high school. We don't offer a sports program. And that is also one other difference between Leading Edge. Leading Edge has an extensive sports program. We do not. We instead have an arts program, but our students do take a very rigorous PE class. I promise you, it is extremely rigorous. It's actually, I think, one of the hardest classes at PFAA sometimes, because we really do focus in our PE classes on mental health, wellness, along with the physical aspects of physical education. Next slide, please. So just to give you an idea, most of our middle school students enter 6th grade with a preview course. And the preview course that we have is basically we want our students to not come in saying, I just want to be a dancer or I just want to be an actor. We really believe in the idea of exploring. So our students enter 6th grade and they basically every quarter take a different arts class. And so our students may take intro to visual arts the first quarter. The second quarter, they may take a vocal and theory class where they're learning how to sing. And then a third quarter, they may take dance. And then their fourth quarter, they may take a class in acting. So we really want our students to come in taking courses in all of the different arts disciplines. Then in 7th grade, we start to ask our students, so what are some areas that you're starting to become more interested in? And so in 7th grade, we have our students take courses in 2 different areas. So some of our students may say, you know what, Mrs. Gandhi, I think I want to try to focus on visual arts because I like drawing and acting. So in 7th grade, our students may take most of their arts courses in just the visual arts and just acting. And then in their 8th grade year, all of our students take English, math, science, history, PE, and they take 2 arts courses. So one of the cool things about PFAA is that we really do take our integrated approach between the arts and the core classes. And what I mean by that is that our students aren't just taking one arts class. They are taking 2 to 3 different arts courses. So when they leave PFAA, they have literally explored in every single arts discipline. And I think that's really important. Most of our students, sometimes I'm asked, do I have to be an expert in dancing? No, I'm not a dancer. In fact, I'm not an actor either, but I'm interested in it. I like seeing it. I like going to shows and things like that. And so as long as you're interested in it, you should apply at PFAA. Next slide. Something else that's also different than Leading Edge is that we do have an audition process. I want to be very, very clear that the word audition process seems very daunting. Please do not be worried about that term. If you are interested in the arts, all you have to do is show us that you're interested. And you can show us that you're interested by submitting a video. You can show us that you're interested by writing a personal statement. You can show us that you're interested in the arts by submitting pictures of your work. It does not need to be perfect. It doesn't even need to be the best thing you've done. We just want to know, are you interested? And why are you interested in the arts? And that is the most important thing for us. And then in that audition process, after you submit your video or your pictures or your personal statement, all students who do this, and that's why I highly encourage you to do it. And it's extremely easy. Please do not be nervous by it. And if you are, please contact me. The name itself seems very, very scary, but it's not intended to be scary at all. We just want to know that you're interested in the arts. So after all students submit their video or their pictures or their statement, they're all entered in a lottery. And from that lottery, we take the top 15%, and the students who from that lottery were selected all get the audition preference. And if you're wondering what this word preference means, it's all provided on our website. So you can take a look there. If you're already an NCS student, you get a preference. If you live in a certain zip code, you get a preference as well. And so one of the preferences for PFAA is the audition. So simply by doing this, you will be entered into that lottery. And so we take the top 15% for that. And then after we do that, what we then do is we then have a school lottery for NCS, and those preferences are all put in there, and it's all jumbled together. And then the computer from there determines which students are accepted into PFAA and Leading Edge as well. Next slide.
I'm actually just going to back up for 1 second, Dr. Gandhi, just to make sure we're really clear with everybody. So for all of our programs this year, and Ms. Carter will talk about this for Pact, but everybody needs to make sure they submit an application for middle school. So if you're a Star Academy family, we love you. We want you to join us. You still have to submit your application. If you're a Pact family, we love you. We want you to join us. You still have to submit an application. If you're brand new to us, we love you. We want you to join us. Please submit an application. So everybody, no matter what, must complete an application. It's all online. We're going to send you the link after this event by Friday, February 19th at 4 p.m. I can't say this enough. I do mean 4 p.m. I do not mean 4:01. I do not mean 4:17. I know in this land of COVID and all the stuff that we're going through right now, it is hard to keep all of this stuff, but we do have, an extensive lottery process to be consistent with our charter and the rules for our organization. And so we do need to stick to those rules. Then you will be asked to schedule as soon as you complete your application, you'll be asked to schedule an intake meeting. It's done via Zoom. It's all virtual. And that's when you're going to show us all your documentation. Here's where I live. Here's my PG&E statement, etc. Our amazing office staff will walk you through it. They'll answer all your questions for you. Then is the part that Dr. Gandhi was just talking about, where if you're applying to PFAA, we're going to give you the option to submit audition materials. You'll get these materials at your intake meeting.
So they will send it to you. So when you go to your intake meeting, they will email all of the information to you. So when you log into Zoom and you're having your intake meeting, all of the information from our front office will be then sent to you via email. And in that email, you will get this document that you see in front of you as well. It is optional, but I highly, highly, highly encourage you to do it. Because it will enter you into the preference lottery. And so we're talking about two different lotteries here. So you apply, you do your intake meeting, Then for PFAA, you have to submit your video or your personal statement or pictures for the audition. For all students who applied to PFAA, we will have a lottery to determine which students will get the 15% preference for the audition. Then we will have an all NCS lottery for all of the different academies. So PFAA just has one little extra step, and that one little extra step is an audition process. Next slide.
So sorry, I'm just going to add one more thing. The last thing I want you all to note on here is that the lottery for all of our programs, Leading Edge, PFAA, everything is going to start. It's all going to happen on the same day. So you'll get all your results. Like if you apply to both programs, you'll actually hear from both at the same time. You do have to make a choice. We definitely encourage folks to apply to both programs, but we will make you pick if you get into both. And the thing that I want to really make clear is then we keep moving through the wait list. And so we do have a lot of folks that apply to both middle schools. And so the wait list moves. There's a lot of movement on it. So I don't want anyone to freak out. I saw a question come through in the chat. I'm going to hold all questions till the end just because I have too many screens right now, and we'll get to it. And then I think did you have something else to say, Dr. Gandhi, or are we passing it on to Ms. Carter?
Oh, and no, I don't. Just actually, the one last thing, you do not need to live within the boundaries to apply to any of our middle schools. We don't have busing though. We are working on that. So we're hoping to have that in the next year or two, but we don't have busing. So, but anyone can apply. If you're willing to drive from Stockton, we would love to have you as well. So I do want to make that part clear. Okay, Ms. Carter, it's all yours.
Okay, everybody breathe. That was a lot. We're going to switch gears a little bit to Pact Academy. And, just to make things fun, Pact Academy actually has two separate paths that middle schoolers can take. So I'm going to talk about both of those. Pact Academy is our independent study program. And what that means is basically, in simple speak, homeschool, or a little bit of what we're all doing right now, which is hybrid and distance learning. So at Pact Academy, we're a K-8 school. So many of our students start in kindergarten, but many of our students join us in middle school. It's very, very common. And the traditional homeschool path is the one that I want to talk about first. And on the slide here, I call it Homeschool Plus. And that's because what makes us different than other homeschooling charters in the area is that we actually do run the homeschool support part, which is you provide primary instruction at home. But then we provide a whole lot of extra support. So we have a beautiful new building that we just opened and moved into over the summer that no one's even seen. So come and see it. And that facility is full of resources for homeschooling families. We have a full library for people to check out curriculum and to check out books and board games and all sorts of fun things. We have offices where you meet with a credentialed teacher on a regular basis to be your coach and to guide you through the process of homeschooling so that you don't have to try and figure it out on your own. And we have classrooms where we provide enrichment workshops. I'm going to talk about those workshops in just a few minutes. Some of the benefits of choosing a homeschooling program, and some of our families are finding this in this time of distance learning, is that it does provide you with a flexible schedule at home. I don't know about you, but my middle schooler likes to sleep in, and she gets to sleep in a little more when I don't have to get her up and drop her off really early, those kinds of things. But also it provides families for flexible schedules in the evening, which is up on this slide. When you're your child's primary educator, then there's a lot of learning happening during the day, and you're getting your homework and your schoolwork kind of done all at once, which is great for a family who needs time for a student who's super serious about sports or gymnastics or dance or theater that take up a lot of time in the evening. It kind of can free up some time. So that would be a great choice. And then one of the other benefits of homeschooling is that when you're homeschooling your child, you're actually really able to personalize that educational path and adopt the curriculum with the help of your credentialed teacher so that it fits your kid and your family. So I want to talk briefly about those enrichment workshops. Enrichment workshops are one of the big benefits of PACT. And so the best way that I can describe this quickly is to call it community college for little people. So what we do is we build a schedule, and we have a whole bunch of people who come in and teach electives. All of these are optional. You can sign up for a bunch, you can sign up for none, and it doesn't matter. But we have an art teacher on site 3 days a week teaching art electives. We contract with a dance studio. We've brought in martial arts instructors. We teach science classes, math, game enrichment, history-based things, all sorts of things. You name it, we've probably got it. And what is really neat about this is that it can supplement your home instruction, so that if there's an area where your child is interested and wants to dig a little deeper, they can explore that. Or if there's an area where you feel a little less confident and you'd like your child to get someone else to help with that for a while, you can. And then also it provides the element of a school community, which is a little bit different than other homeschooling programs. So this year, our workshops are all virtual, but in a normal year, these are provided together in site, where we have groups of students in small class sizes of usually 16 students that come together to do those workshops, and it provides them with an opportunity to make friends, to come together for learning, to share ideas, and have all those benefits of a classroom experience. Okay, some other benefits at PACT. We have arts, technology, and enrichment, as I talked about, built into all of our programs. And then also we run a lot of field trips and family events. And so that's really nice, because it's easy when you're a homeschooling parent to feel like you go it alone at home with your kids. But really, homeschooling is a great community event. And so we bring families together to develop relationships, to support each other. And we provide opportunities for people to come together. We've done some really amazing field trips. We all meet up and go places. We do a science night. We have drama performances and band performances and all of those kinds of events as well. So that's kind of a highlight of our traditional homeschooling program. The other program that we have is Project X, and I don't have a separate slide. It's just a little bit of a different conversation. I know, I should probably put one in there someday. Project X is a different program inside of Pact Academy. So what Project X is a hybrid learning model, which is actually very similar to what hybrid learning is looking like at schools right now. So our Project X program is for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And when you sign up for that thread, we take a maximum of 48 students, which are roughly divided equally between the 3 grades. So it is a small class size. And those students come to our campus all day on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 3 for math, science, social studies, and language arts workshops, as well as an elective class each day and an advisory period. So they're doing what kind of looks like traditional school on Tuesdays and Thursdays on a small scale. Then on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, they work from home, and they have the support of a classroom teacher that is their Project X teachers who assign their work and keep things on track. So we call this hybrid because it's partially at school and at home, but also it's a little bit hybrid because what's different for parents between homeschooling and Project X is that in traditional homeschooling, the parent is the person deciding which curriculum to use and is the primary person who delivers that learning. And then we provide enrichment support. But in Project X, it is the PACT staff who provide the primary instruction and are assigning the work, and it's the parent who's acting as the coach to keep things on track. So a little bit going on there. This is a great option for students who have been homeschooling and are planning to go to a more traditional high school option so that they kind of get an experience of school in a smaller dose. This is a great option for a middle school student who has been going to a traditional school and would like to go to a smaller option because our Project X classes, there's 48 kids in the program, but for science and humanities, they have 24 kids. So half the kids are in those classes at a time. And our language arts and math groups have 12 kids each in them. So they get very personalized attention. And then it also is a great program for students who are looking at high school options like Natomas Charter Schools VLA or Visions or Sava vocational program that is a more student-paced, student-driven or online type program to get them ready for that independent, self-driven learning. Those are kind of the basics. if you want any information, we are happy to give that to you. My email is going to come up here in just a little bit, or you can go to our website. And then the application process for Pact Academy is very similar to the other programs. You still need to submit an online application by that February 19th at 4:00 p.m. deadline. There is an additional Google form that you fill out to apply for Project X, and it just asks a few questions to help us kind of figure out if that's going to be a good fit for your family. In order to be eligible for Project X, you do have to be enrolled in Pact Academy. So what that means is you have to fill out that Pact Academy application first. We are anticipating this year, actually it's already happened. We have more applications for next year at Pact Academy than we have spots. So we will be holding a lottery. And then once that lottery is completed on March 3rd, if we have more Project X students than we have spaces who have applied, then we'll also hold a Project X lottery to fill those spaces. I thought of something else. Oh, I know what it was. The only reason you would not need to fill out a new application for middle school at Pact is if you are currently a Pact student, elementary student, then you don't need to fill out a new one. But if you don't already go to Pact, you have to fill out that application. So make sure that you get that taken care of. Okay,
Ms. Carter, Ms. Carter, since you're talking, there's a question in the chat. If my child were to get into PFAA and then discovered that she was not emotionally ready for it, would we have the option to switch back to Pact?
That is an excellent question. So as with any of Natomas Charter Schools campuses, if you leave, you are giving up your seat. And then the ability to return is totally dependent on whether or not we're full. So currently Pact Academy is full. And so families who have left can go back to the bottom of the wait list. And so the same thing would happen. If you went to one of the other academies, you would need to contact us to see if there were spots. If there were spots, that would be easy. You fill out an application and you enroll. But if we're full, then you go to the bottom of the wait list. But yep, I think that's it. Just the bottom of the wait list.
Which is a good transition into questions. So we're going to take questions. It seems like maybe Seema, you're taking a look at the chat, so maybe you can share questions from the chat, and Ms. Carter, you can share questions like if you see hands or any other in the group. Our emails are here. I'll leave them up for a while, but I'm also going to remind everybody that we are going to we're going to send you all this information plus more tomorrow, probably. Especially that's why we asked you to register for this event, so we have your information.
So the first question is actually for me. If my child chooses PFAA, do they automatically move into 9th grade in high school, or is there a lottery process again in 9th grade, or is there any other criteria? If you choose PFAA and you stay with us until 8th grade and then decide to stay with us again in 9th grade, you do not need to reapply. You are automatically transitioning from 8th grade into 9th grade. There is no other criteria. There's no application. You just automatically roll over into the high school program. The next,
I'm gonna add to that if I could, because yes. I know this comes up a lot, and a lot of folks have a lot of fear about like, oh my goodness, I have to get them into middle school, and then I have to get them into high school in 3 years. That's too much. And what I want to say is yes. So PFAA provides that excellent pathway. However, we do a lot of work to make sure our leading edgers have a similar pathway if that's the pathway they choose. My teachers spent 6 hours yesterday doing letters of recommendation for every child in the 8th grade for the various high school programs. And so we really do support that transition very, very strongly.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add to it that most of the leading edge students, just because they work so hard there to get them ready for PFAA, that they actually end up doing very well at PFAA because because it is so rigorous there as well, that they transition beautifully into PFAA. And I have seen that all leading edge students that then come to PFAA for 9th grade do very well. So if you're looking for a sports program and an artistic type of environment later on, I encourage you to apply to leading edge, and then with the hopes that you will continue to get prepared for eventually coming to PFAA in high school. The next question is, it's actually for Ms. Carter. Do you have any recommendations for students applying to PFAA and PACT as a 7th grader?
I'm not sure what kind of recommendations we're looking for. If you're applying to both, then once that lottery is held, you would need to make a decision. And at this point, both programs, sometimes there's a strategy about which to accept and then make a move if you need to. But this year we're anticipating wait lists in both programs. So there's not really any sort of strategic advantage. Juan, if you have a more specific.
I imagine that question is a little bit at like, because I see later in the chat, is it harder to get in at different points? And so the answer is that yes, 6th grade and 9th grade have the most new spots. And that's true for all 3 programs.
It's actually, Amanda, it's not.
Oh, it's not, I lied. It's not true for all 3.
Yes. So yeah, at our site-based programs, admissions are done by grade level. There's a certain number of seats in each class. At PACT homeschooling, we just have a total of 250 spots. And however many students leave, we fill those spots, and it doesn't matter what grade level you're applying for. So yes, it's easier to get into PACT in 7th grade than it is to get into PFAA, if that makes sense.
Excellent.
And at PFAA, for 6th grade, we typically have 100 seats. Sometimes last year we went up to 108. It just depends on our availability and our capacity that we can handle. And so it is harder to get into the 7th grade program because most of our students who are in 6th grade don't really leave after 6th grade. We may have maybe 3 or 4, possibly if they move out of the area. Typically, if they start with us in 6th grade, they do stay with us through the entire 6th through 8th grade. The next question is for you, Ms. Goldman. It says, does either academy accept students that are currently in special education programs with NUSD continuing with an IEP?
So of course, we all accept students with IEPs. You do not have to provide us with your IEP when you apply, though it is helpful because then we have it already, but that's just so that we can, work with it later once you get in. But your IEP is completely not part of the application or lottery process at all. All students are welcome. In terms of I just wanted to add to the should I apply even if I don't have a good chance of getting in? I want to kind of address that question because I think that's part of the how many spots, et cetera. And this year in particular, I'm going to say, heck yeah. It's a weird year, folks. We've had a lot of turnover, a lot of folks moving out of state, a lot of folks leaving for reasons that don't happen often. And so in particular, I would say this year in particular, if you've been kind of I didn't make it in 6th grade, I want to think it for 7th grade, I strongly encourage you to put that application into all of your, all of the academies. And then I see that there's a question of, can I apply to both programs? Yes, you can apply to all of them. Please do. The more the merrier.
Perfect. So I think the next question, I've already addressed, but if students are not admitted in the 6th grade, how easy and likely is it for students to transition if they later are admitted in 7th grade? Or would it be better to wait till high school if the lottery does not work out for 6th? I encourage, at least for PFAA, that you apply every year. Just like Miss Goldman just shared, it's a wonky year. And so I actually encourage you to apply every year, apply to every academy, and then see what happens. And then you can always make a decision after that point. The next question, I have applied in both PFAA and Leading Edge, but haven't received any instructions on the process to upload the audition file. Should I reach out to the front office of PFAA again? I would definitely reach out to the front office. If you've already had your intake meeting, they should have provided you instructions. If not, please go ahead and just contact them. You can also email me and I can direct you in the right direction as well. The next question is, how many seats are available for Leading Edge?
88.
Okay, and then it looks like, I think Juan was asking, sorry, my question was more in terms of preparation for the curriculum, having missed 6th grade in case they do get in. I'm still confused about the question, so I think it's best if you email possibly, and then we can address it via email.
I guess
Seema,
what I would say to any family that's looking at entering not at a traditional entry point, so not at 6th grade, not at 7th grade, not at 8th grade, or at any of those points, we got you. We got your kids. We're not gonna be like, you weren't there in 6th grade. You missed this thing. We're not gonna support you. So we have kids enter, midway through the progression all the time. We have kids enter midway through the year all the time. And we're prepared to support those kiddos.
Perfect. And then the next question is, so if we choose leading edge for 6th through 8th grade and want to choose PFAA for high school, do they have to apply, or by default, can they move to PFAA? They do have to apply, but leading edge does a fabulous job preparing them for the application process. So I definitely encourage you, if you're debating between the two, but want to go to PFAA high school, definitely apply to leading edge. Like I shared earlier, almost all students do very well on the application, audition, everything, and it prepares them very well academically as well for PFAA.
And Samita, what I would add is not only do we help them with that process, once you're already a Natomas Charter School student, you do have some additional lottery preferences. So it's very complicated, all the preferences, and we can go through that, but I will tell you it's just kind of messy, but you do get an additional lottery preference for being a leading edge student applying to PFAA.
And the next question is, how will I be notified if my child's application is picked up in the lottery? By an email. If my child's application is not picked for 6th grade, can I apply for his 7th grade next year? Ms. Goldman, did you want to take that one?
Yes and yes. So this year in particular, everything is going to be through email and through that, oh my Lord, I've forgotten the name of the thing, Infosnap. And so, when you submitted your application, you did this Infosnap account and you created your application through Infosnap. Everything will go through Infosnap. And this is actually really critical after the lottery. So remember, we are talking about your children, and we are talking about minors, and we are talking about confidentiality. If you just call us up and I'm like, hey, did my kid get in? We are not going to tell you anything because we can't verify that you are actually the person legally responsible for that child. So everything happens through your email and through that Infosnap account. And yes, you can apply every year. And if you're on the wait list from one year, you actually have a preference into the next year.
I have one clarification from an earlier question, and then there was a hand up and then it disappeared. But Dahlia, if you're still here and you want to ask your question, find us. I lost you. I want to clarify, there was a question here about, do we have to live in a certain place to apply? And we answered for our site-based programs, the answer is no. For independent study programs, there is actually a residency requirement. And so I just want to make sure I say that out loud. In order to attend PACT, you have to live in Sacramento County or a county that touches it. There are several. You have to pull up a map and look. So you can live in San Joaquin County, for example, but there is, if you live in like Yuba City and Marysville, one of those touches and one of them doesn't. So you can call our office if you're not sure, and we'll tell you if you live somewhere where you can apply. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew that was a little different. I think we lost Dahlia, but maybe she'll pop back up.
And the next question is, your website says priority 3 for PFAA scoring in the top 15% of audition criteria. Are audition criteria being used this year? So this year, the way that auditions are working because of COVID, we typically have an amazing, it's not even an audition day. It's more of just an opportunity to have students on campus with all of our arts teachers. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we are not able to do that. So our audition looks a little bit different. So everybody still needs to apply, as Ms. Goldman shared earlier. You will go through an intake meeting, and then after you do the intake meeting, you will then have an audition, a little worksheet that you will get. And part of that worksheet is it's going to ask you to submit something. So you can submit a personal statement about why you're interested in the arts. Or you can submit a video of you doing a monologue, or of you dancing, or of you showing some of your artwork, or of you just talking and introducing yourself. Or you can submit some pictures. And so once you do that, all students who submit something for the audition, again, it does not need to be anything that is perfect. You don't need to go get private lessons. It's nothing like that. We just want to know that you're interested in the arts, that you're interested in learning more about being an actor or a dancer or a musician. We just want to know that you're interested in it. Once we get all of those documents, and by documents I mean a video or statement or pictures, all of those students, every single one that submitted something, is entered into a PFAA audition lottery. 15% of those students, of the available seats that we have, are all entered into that lottery. We select 15%. Those students who are selected in the 15% receive the audition preference. They just receive the preference. It doesn't mean that they're accepted into PFAA. It just means that they receive that preference. And by preference, it just means like an extra ticket. Think of it like an extra ticket. And so then all students then on March 3rd will enter the NCS lottery. And so the students who receive that extra ticket just receive an extra ticket on the actual lottery. Okay, so do PFAA, LE, Pact participate in the National Spelling Bee contest? Ms. Goldman, do you want to take that one?
We have in the past. We haven't in a number of years. It hasn't been something that we've had a critical mass of interest in. But I think what I will dovetail with that question is all three of these programs are small programs. And what that means is that if there's a concentrated group of interest and some parent support for helping make that interest happen, we're very open to things that they don't have to happen every year. But in the past years, I haven't had anybody participate in Spelling Bee in about 5 years.
Yeah, and at PFAA, very, very similar to that. We haven't had much interest in wanting to participate in the National Spelling Bee, but we've had a lot of our students participate in outside competitions in other areas like the arts or in productions or in theater. So our students are driven and they are competitive. It's just that we haven't had anyone interested in wanting to be in a spelling competition. But just like Ms. Goldman said, if there's a population of students who want to do it, we definitely support it, and we provide the resources in conjunction with our parental support as well. The next question is, so if my student doesn't get the audition preference for PFAA, do they still have a chance to get in? Yes, absolutely. I have seen that that it just depends. It's a chance, right? It's all a chance, and it just depends where the numbers fall on it. But I have over the years definitely seen students with the preference get in, students without a preference. It just really depends on luck. Any other questions? I don't see any more in the chat box.
I don't see any hands.
So while folks are wondering if they have any more questions, I'll just remind you, so look for an email. Maybe tomorrow. It might take us till Monday or Tuesday. There's a lot going on in the world at the moment, and we'll send you kind of all the links. We're in the process of making various videos to kind of give you an insider view into what it looks like in our classrooms, those sorts of things. Please make sure you're checking back to our websites a lot, and following us on social media, etc. We are sad that we can't end this by telling you, come visit us on campus this year, because usually that is really the the icing on the cake, and it's really a fun day. Unfortunately, of course, we can't do that this year. So hopefully you got lots of great information. There's lots of great thank yous in the comments. We appreciate you as well, and we appreciate you all taking your time to be here tonight. Dr. Gandhi, Ms. Carter, anything else you want to add?
I just wanted to say thank you for joining us this evening. And each of our programs are unique. We are different, and we're different by design. And so you won't get anything like this at any other school. We are very small. We are collaborative. All of the different schools here, or our academies, we're all a very close-knit community. And so we hope you want to be part of that close-knit community. We're small, we're safe, we're supportive, and we look forward to seeing you, hopefully.
And I'll just end saying, likewise, thank you for being here. Please reach out to us and to our front office staff if you have any questions. Honestly, I miss talking to humans. So if you want to just talk, I'd be really thrilled to tell you about our program. And yeah, we hope to see many of you next year.
Sorry, there is one last question that I want to, I think Eric Johnson perfectly said it. To clarify, for the audition process, there is no difference between the kid who plays Mozart and the kid who says he likes Mozart. Absolutely. And I'm actually going to use that line next year. Yes, there is no difference. Please apply. You know, I am not Mozart, but I like Mozart. So thank you.
And Cynthia, you are correct. Everything is done online, and everything is virtual. And if you are having trouble with online, pick up the phone, give us a call. Our staff will walk you through it step by step. All right.